All right, welcome into Gridiron Icon this week. We are back in the saddle and we are excited. We have a special guest this week. Of course, I am joined by number 88, my better half, I guess. Is that even the right thing to say? My teammate,
Whatever
Mr.
works.
Preston Denard. Welcome in.
How are you, my friend?
I am doing fantastic. I'm excited to
Good,
get this
good.
one going. I have a feeling there's going to be some insights into New Mexico, wide receivers, and a bunch of other stuff.
Well, there'll be a few. There'll be a few. But we're not going to complain too much about them. But all is good. We're so glad to have our guests with us. But all's well with you. You're doing well. All of a sudden, we've got an opportunity, my friend, that we're going to rock and roll this year with a couple of new surprises, too.
Indeed, we do. Indeed, we do. Let's consider tonight a kickoff.
All right, let's do it.
Let's no 81 and 88 together again.
Stacy, Stacy, your better half. Let's say the other half.
Mother, you know what? I do like that a little
He
bit
gives me
better.
money. He gives me money just prior to the show and makes me say that every week. It's just something.
Good stuff. Good to see you, brother Preston. Good to see you, man.
Well, thank you, man, so much. Well, I just want to say, everybody, we've got you hear the voice of a wonderful person, Terance Mathis, the former college All-American, played University of New Mexico. I know a little bit about him. You're going to find out today a little bit more about his new coaching exploits at Morehouse College and how he's pursuing that as a head coach. And he's done high school. He just shattered all the records that your boy used to have at the University of New Mexico, and drafted by the Atlanta Falcons, played for the Jets, and it was once at the Steelers, just done all kind of stuff. He's done something I hadn't had a chance to do coming out of New Mexico. He was named All-Pro, second team, 1994. But we do share in common. We both appeared in Super Bowls, and he had a chance to play in a Super Bowl as well. We're going to kick this thing off. Ladies and gentlemen, help me, though. Welcome, Mr. Terance Mathis.
All right. Excited. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Well, Stacy, he's a guest of ours, so I'm going to let you kick it off, my friend, because you deserve it.
Okay, good. Yeah, well, I'm a big fan. I mean, I watched this guy tear it up. We'll get into the Dirty Birds and that whole era with you guys. I was looking back at your numbers, Terance. Unbelievable. We'll get to that. I don't want to skip ahead. We really like to start every week for the fans that are listening in is to get a feel for how you got started as a kid. I know that you were a two sport guy, right? Football and basketball.
Yeah.
How did you get started with that? How did you land on football? And there's something that's of interest to me. I'm just going to say it right here now. I was raised by my mother, single parent family.
Yes.
You were as well.
Yes.
I like exploring that stuff. Tell us about it.
Well, when I was around 7, 8 years old, my uncle coached Little League football, and his sons played, and I wanted to hang out with them. So I begged my mom, could I go? And she kept saying, no, you're going to get in the way. So my uncle said, bring him. He's going to be fine. I'll take him. Let him go. So I get to the field, and I remember him putting a football in my hand, and I played with that football for 2 hours. And I knew right then and there, after watching them practice, run around, and with that football in my hand, that's what I wanted to do. 2 years
Wow.
later, 2 years later, I started playing football at age 9. And if it wasn't for my mom, we wouldn't be talking football here today. So when I was 9 years old, I started playing football, and I didn't realize how physical it was and,
Right.
and how demanding it was. So I skipped a couple of practices, and I used to come home and, roll in the grass and then come home. And mom used to ask me, how was practice? I said, it was great. I ran a couple of touchdowns today, blah, blah, blah. I did this for 2 days. The third day I come in and she said, well, how was practice, son? I said, oh, mine, it was a good one today. It was better than the last 2 days. He said, boy, your coach called and said you haven't been in practice in 3 days.
Uh-oh.
I love it.
Ooh.
She said to me, if I'm going to pay money for you to go play football, you're going to play football. And believe it or not, that's how I stuck with football. She sent me back, and she said, since I paid for it, you're going to play. And I stuck it out, and, through the years and obstacles and twists and turns, and here we are today.
I got to tell you, that's awesome. How important is a good mom? I mean, unbelievable. Your life would have a completely different trajectory if she hadn't just whooped you into shape.
Yep. No, literally, sometimes she had to.
We all got those back in the day
Yeah.
for those youngsters listening.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to ask, well, once you did start putting a little bit more emphasis on going out and playing, did you realize right away in youth that you had something special going on, or did you still have to try to find your place in the athletic world?
It was probably my third year when I really realized this thing was good. That year I played running back. We won our second championship, and believe it or not, little league football, you think I'm telling a story. I had about 30 touchdowns.
I believe it.
We were beating people. We were beating people 72-0 at the time, and it was incredible. And I knew it was something. And then remember now, this was back when I was growing up in Detroit. And then we moved to Georgia when I was 11, and I didn't play football that year. And I was so distraught whatsoever, and I was hungry for it. And that's when I started playing basketball at age 11. Okay. So when I went back to play football, I was so hungry, and I was getting after it. Mm-hmm. I was in the 8th grade, and I was new to the school whatsoever. And the coach was like, would never play me. I was a quarterback, and the coach would never play me at quarterback. And this is a true story. So I used to go home every day and tell my mom, this coach don't like me, he won't play me, I'm the best quarterback, blah, blah, blah. She told me that she told me, she said, shut up, stop talking. This is a true story. And she says, when you get back to practice tomorrow, I want you to point one finger at him and one finger up to the sky and says, in the name of Jesus, you're going to play me at quarterback. I started laughing. She said, boy, don't you laugh. You better do it. If mom said do it, I'm going to do it. Yeah. So we had that opportunity. Preston, I was on one knee. I'm looking around, and I said, I can't lie and say I did. Mm-hmm. So I pointed at him, one hand up. I said, in the name of Jesus, you're going to play me at quarterback. I started 8 games at quarterback. We went 8-0.
Wow.
And I said, wow. I said, wow, my mom owned something. She was on to something.
Yeah.
And so I played quarterback throughout my high school career, played some tailback. I didn't play wide receiver until I got to college. Never.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
But I was an athlete in high school. I caught passes out of the backfield playing running back. I played quarterback. I played corner. I played safety, punt returner, kick returner, holder.
Yeah.
Wow.
Safety on kickoff coverage and punt team. Some games I never left the field. So that was my high school career. And getting to New Mexico was truly a blessing.
Tell us about how you got there, though, as far as playing ball. You made, I know you had some interest in other programs, but probably tell us about the focus and how you came to New Mexico and then converted to a wide receiver.
Oh, wow. Did I just lose you guys?
Nope, we still have you.
Yeah, we're here.
Oh, there you go.
Oh.
Something happened. On my end, y'all just went.
Technology.
I blew him away. I blew him away with that question.
Yeah, yes, you did. So, as a quarterback, here's his story. I would get pulled out of class and schools would talk to me. And I remember this one particular school called me out, and coach came out the office, and we stood in the hallway and we talked. He loved the film, great player, good athlete whatsoever. But then he looked at me and said, you're way too small to play in the SEC and for Tennessee and for the University of Tennessee. Oh, man, I was so pissed. Oh my God, I was so pissed. And I was like, wow, I couldn't believe he just said that in my face. I was like, wow. So, I told my mom about it, and she first thing she said, don't ever let anybody, tell you can't do anything. Don't ever let anybody talk to you like that. You got to prove them wrong. So coach came in from Georgia Southern. At the time, they was national champions. They had just been national champions, and coach wanted me to play quarterback there after the great Tracy Ham that was there. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden he stopped recruiting me. And I was like, well, what happened? And I'm calling and no answer whatsoever. So about 3 weeks later, he called me, he apologizes and said, Terance, I'm at the University of New Mexico right now. He says, I still want you to come play quarterback for me at the University of New Mexico.
Wow.
I came out for a visit. School was out. It was in May, nobody on campus. I met Jolie Dunn. When I was about to leave, Jolie looked at me. He says, we got one more scholarship left. and it was Ben Griffith, Coach Ben Griffith. Ben, think you can play for us? I guess I give you the scholarship. That's how he offered me the scholarship.
I believe it.
Wow.
I believe it.
and I said, thank you, sir. I shook his hand, got on the plane, and I signed my scholarship June 11th, 1985. That's the day I graduated high school.
Wow.
Okay.
And then about a month later, I was on a train to Albuquerque, and didn't know anybody, but the offensive coordinator. That's the only person I knew. And I got there. My mom trusted him. We prayed whatsoever, and I got there. Freshmen started out. We started out, and the funny thing, we all had to introduce ourselves. So went around whatsoever, got to me, and I had this little country draw, from being from Georgia. I picked up a little something, and I stood up and said, Terance Mathis, quarterback from Stone Mountain, Georgia, and they started giggling and laughing. So so right then there was another chip on my shoulder. I was like, okay, they're gonna laugh. So I went out there. We had 3 days of freshman camp, and I went out there, and I was the 6th quarterback on the depth chart of freshman quarterbacks. And I rolled up to number 1 in 2 days. And then I remember the last day it rained, and we were in all white. And towards the end of the practice, Rick Trickett, the great offensive line coach, Rick Trickett, looked at me and says, everybody out here muddy but you. Why aren't you muddy? And I said, well, that's because they can't tackle me.
They can't tackle me. They can't catch me.
He made me so mad because he started kicking mud on me. Like, you're going to be like everybody else. And I'm looking at him because, this white country man kicking dirt on me. And I'm looking at him like, and Ben said, Mathis, come here. And he grabbed me whatsoever, and Trick is still talking. Oh, you think you something. When the upperclassmen get here, we're going to see how good you are, blah, 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 blah. Because I stood up to him. I looked at him like I was about to, and Coach Griffin called me. So we get, everybody comes in, and we go through a few days of practice, and then we had our first scrimmage. And I'm standing over there just watching, and all these quarterbacks, upperclassmen going whatsoever, this and that. So Ben comes over to me and says, well, Jolie says, I got to put you in the practice, and you got to play somewhere because he want to see you against the upperclassmen. I said, okay. He said, put you at slot receiver. You know the plays? I said, sure, coach, I know the plays. First play, he runs a reverse. He gives it to me. I go 60 yards untouched for a touchdown. He plays me at quarterback. I throw for a touchdown and run for a touchdown at quarterback. So now everybody's going, okay, who is this 145 pound?
45 pounds, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I didn't start the opening day. I played a little bit. I got the flu opening week, the week of the opening game, so I didn't start. Started the second week against New Mexico State at wide receiver, caught 4 balls for 161 yards and 2 touchdowns. I said, oh, wow, this feels pretty good.
Yeah, there you go.
It's easy.
I think I like it out here. But it's funny. My sophomore year, I played in about 2 or 3 games at quarterback. And going into the junior year, I was projected as a starting quarterback. And then Jolie, those guys got fired. Mike Shepard came in and said, you're never going to play quarterback here. You're just going to be a receiver. He says, matter of fact, you're not going to wear a quarterback number. We're going to take 15 off of you and put you in 84. So the whole spring, I wore 84.
Oh, wow.
And then I said, wait a minute. You got to understand, I was an honorary dude back then.
Yeah.
I would speak my mind. So I go in his office. I said, Coach, I am not wearing 84. I says, I'm wearing 15. I said, I was all conference in 15. I says, I'm wearing 15. That's the number I want. That's the number I'm going to wear. and we went at it. So then the fall, I get to my locker, and guess what's in my locker? 15.
15, baby. Yeah.
I said,
Okay.
that's what we're talking about.
Wow. Wow.
And then Mike Shepard and I, we talk constantly now. He was big influence in my projection and my development to play at the next level. You got to understand, it was just beautiful how even though we fought butted heads, but we had this kind of relationship that it worked. On game day, it worked. We argued and questioned each other in practices, but on game day, it worked.
Interesting, Matt. Now for everybody listening, you are a coach now yourself. How does that kind of experience at the college? I mean, no slouch, might add. First consensus All-American in 1989, Division I records for most receiving yards. Broke some guy's record. I don't know who that guy is. Might be on the show. But I mean, I got to rub that in, right?
Rub it in.
How does that kind of stuff, looking back at you as a young guy, a little hot-headed, standing your ground, does that play a role now in your coaching?
Well, I'm a little bit different now. I'm a little bit more fun.
A little different.
Yeah, I'm very demanding, attention to detail.
Yep.
But I allow my young men to be who they are. Yeah. As long as they don't get out of control, disrespectful, and it doesn't mess up the balance of a football team. I think that young men have to be young men. You got to meet them where they are. When I first got the job, people says, "Oh, you're gonna have to change the culture," and I was like, "Why?" I says, "Oh, they've been losing." I said, "That has nothing to do with the culture at all. It's all about the atmosphere you present. You got to change the atmosphere more than anything." So when I came on campus, right away, I'm high-fiving, meeting people from the cafeteria to the people that clean up, to students, to whoever I can say hello to the campus police, whatsoever, administrators. I'm shaking hands, meeting people, students, fist pumping, all that. Then when we get to practice, I lead stretch, and I'm doing drills with them. And then I lead conditioning, and I'm throwing balls, catching balls, covering, doing all these things, and every day asking, "How you doing today? You good? What's your name? Where you from?" All these things, and cracking jokes on them. And then the atmosphere started to change. They started to loosen up, and it started to become fun, and they wanted to come to practice. So once we got them to practice, we says, "Okay, we got to teach them now. We got to teach them what it's like to have a championship pedigree." And so we went to practice, and we was energy. We had spring practice. Every practice was 90 minutes. Some of it was less. We was bam, bam, bam going, and they were loving it. And the energy was there. And then the atmosphere changed. And so what I did was I let them have their culture. There's some things that they like to do before practice and after practice, and I met them in the middle. So I'm going to give you this, and I'm going to give you this, but in between this, it's going to be us and where I want us to go. And it's worked. Even in recruiting, it's funny.
Wow.
We went to I went to Douglas High School in Atlanta today. I sat in a room with about 7 kids. 6 of them had multiple offers from Power 5 to Group 5 to FCS, multiple. One kid, top 10 DB in the country. And I'm sitting there watching their film and whatsoever. The film, after we done with all of them, I looked at them and told them who I was and, what I represent and what I do. I tell them, I said, I don't have a book of cliches. I don't have a book of, that says team, T stands for this. And I don't do all that. I go by the spirit of how I feel. So I'm sitting there and I'm talking to them whatsoever. And I told them, I says, you're thinking of Morehouse HBCU Division II football program. But this time next year, we'll be Morehouse MEAC FCS Division I football program. And their eyes got big. It was like, wow. Yeah. And then I asked them, I said, so let me ask you, I said, I'm not going to take anything away from you young men because you got all these offers and it's an honor. It proves that you are a great football player and a lot of schools want you. I says, out of all those offers that you received, I says, how many head coaches come to your school and offer you personally? You could have heard a pin drop. You could have heard a pin drop. I said, so, and then I says, well, how many head coaches called you and offered you over the phone. I said, so all these Power Five schools and you have all these offers. So you telling me you haven't had a conversation with the head football coach?
Interesting.
I said, so you having a conversation with the head football coach at Morehouse College. And today I'm gonna offer you, and you an opportunity to come play at Morehouse. They jumped out of their seats and hugged each other, jumped whatsoever. And
Wow.
and that's the way I recruit. Because at the end of the day, if you want a guy, I have my coaches go out and they make offers, and it'll come to me, and I look at them, and I try to get to those schools that's locally that we can get to, and personally re-offer them what my coaches already did, because I feel that if he's important enough for us to offer, he's important for me to go meet. It's important to me to go meet him, and that's how I recruit.
We're talking about your college coaching and sort of how you've come out of the pro game, and we're going to get back to that.
Okay.
Let everybody know. But since we're on it, let me ask you your opinion. You're back in this game again now. You're a coach. You've been that player. You've been on the opposite side. In regards to seeking fame and the best opportunities you have, the portal is upon us. What kind of madness is that for you now in this era as a head coach, trying to recruit, doing exactly what you're talking about?
Well, you got to understand, think about this. The only guys that complain about the portal is the guys that are all making the money. It's the guys that are making all the money is complaining about the portal. It's the Power Five school. They're complaining about the portal. Well, guess what? When you have alumni that's given all this money for their football programs to be national champions, you're going to have issues like this, because now you got a kid that's sitting in Alabama, started his career at Alabama or Georgia or whatsoever, went to college playoffs, played in the championship game, and all of a sudden want to jump and go play somewhere else. Okay, why is that? It's because you're throwing money at them.
Yep.
You're throwing money and you're throwing things at them. So it's like, wow, what's the name offer? I can go get more over here and play at another Power Five school and possibly get to the college playoffs again. With my situation, it's not like that.
Right.
These young men just want to play football and want film. So they kind of almost fall in our laps. Like, I'm on Twitter, and when I search Twitter, you go all these young men following, and you looking at these portal guys and going, wow.
Yeah.
And then you pick up the phone and said, how you doing? What you got going? Coach, I got this school going, this school going. Hey, you know anything about Morehouse College? Yes, coach, I know all about Morehouse College. I know about you, blah, blah, blah. Hey, would you like to come play for me at Morehouse College? Coach, I would love to. Hey, man, look, I'm telling you, this ain't just an offer where you can stack up. Do you really want to come play at Morehouse College? If you do, when we get off the phone, go apply for college. Go apply at Morehouse College. And then once you get accepted to Morehouse College, then we'll know if you're serious or not. And that's the way it is. We don't have money to give them. All we got is an Ivy League type degree from an HBCU, and that's Morehouse College. And then the opportunity, if you want to play on Sundays, we have all the answers to the questions.
That's incredible, Coach. I love that, especially in an era when the portal and the NIL, and even I don't think you guys were teammates at the same time in Atlanta, but with what Neon Dion's going through out in Colorado, all the skepticism, that's refreshing. You make it personal.
Yeah, you have to. At the end of the day, these families, when they drop their young men off, we have to be an extension of that family. And we have to make sure their babies are taken care of, that we're going to do everything necessary for them to do what they need to do. It's in a day and age where, scholarships are year by year whatsoever. And there's always discussions in our meetings about, okay, this kid, he's not living up to his potential on the football field. Coach, I think this, this, and always talk about, taking scholarship money, right? And I told my coaches in our last staff meeting, I will not take money from a young man that's going to stop him from getting his education. I said, I don't care how bad he is on the football field whatsoever. I says, look, it's your job to coach him. And I told him in their face, I said, you come to me and say a kid can't play. That means you haven't coached him or you can't coach. And I know you can coach because you're on this staff. So do your job. And I think about this. You tell a young man just because he could be a 3-5 student in the classroom, and he may not be a starter and he may not play for you on the football field. And you're going to say, well, he's taking up a spot. Let's take his scholarship money. What?
Yeah.
Are you crazy? So you want me to call when his parents call me and say, well, he's not being productive on the football field, so you're going to have to find a way to pay for his education. That kid is not going to graduate.
Yeah.
So my job, my assignment from the president, win and graduate 90%. And you're fine.
Yeah.
And he said, if you don't win and graduate 90%, you're okay. If you don't quite get 90% and lose, you're still okay. But and if you win and you don't graduate, you're okay.
Yeah.
But I got what he was saying. So I came in and after the first semester, the team had a 2.75 GPA, and I jumped on them about that. I said, "You're smarter than that. You wouldn't be here at Morehouse if you weren't smart." I said, "All of you had to have a 3.0 or better to get into Morehouse. So how are we as a team as a 2.75?" I says, "I need a 3.75 after the semester." So right now we're all the grades are not in yet. So we're around, we're over a 3.0 right now, and we're probably in that 3.3, 3.5 range. And I'm going to be happy with that because that means they work their butts off. So that's important to me. That's really important to me because it all comes together. If you're doing well in the classroom, you're going to do well on the football field and you're going to do well socially, right? And so now we got a well-rounded young man that when he walks through the gates for the last time, he can be a viable citizen in society. That's what it's all about. These coaches got it all twisted with I want to be this and I want to make all this money and I want to be champions whatsoever. Shoot, you win when that guy graduates. You win when that guy comes back and says, "Thank you, coach," and he wants to help grow the program. That's when you win, because at the end of the day, you can't carry the national championship trophy with you to your grave or to heaven. Take it to the grave with you, but it ain't going to heaven with you. But your soul, it's all about your soul. And that's the way it is, man. And I'm not gonna be any different. I can't be any different. All I can be is this. Of course I played under some great coaches, and I took some of the things that they have done and whatsoever and implemented into who I am. That makes up the coach that I am today. But at the end of the day, it's mine. It's mine. I'm gonna do it the way that I think is done, that I think I can get it done. And if it doesn't work out and they fire me, I can go play golf, smoke my cigar, and say, at least I got a chance to do it my way. So if I do it the way somebody else is doing it, or the way that they want me to do it, the AD or whoever they want, the president, whatsoever, and we don't win and they fire me and I'm going to play golf and smoke a cigar, I'm mad because I didn't get a chance to do it my way.
Right.
So I gotta have, and the great thing is the president, the AD, the student body, the alumni, they've been very supportive from day one, and they want to see this program win. They wanted to, the Morehouse brand academically is nationally known. They want the Morehouse brand athletically, especially with football, to be nationally known. And that's my assignment, and that's what I'm gonna do.
Wow.
So it's a lot of fun.
It's really outstanding to see that personally, because we have our little special relationship. But Stacy, I don't know if you heard that caveat, but Georgia boy to Georgia boy. But Terance, this is the end result of a great career, a great sports journey. Let's back that thing up, though, before you were catapulted into coaching. And let's go back to your NFL career. And what's really exciting is I want to know your feeling. I didn't have the chance to truly be drafted and be a pick, but to be a part of the game as a fellow athlete, that turned out to be great. But 1996 round, did you dream big, or did you anticipate that this is a normal process going from college to the pros? And tell us about being drafted to Falcons.
Well, it started with the Jets. So
Jets.
It did start with the Jets. Oh, that's right. That's right.
So I was projected as one of the top 3 receivers to come out in the 1990 draft because of everything that I've done. Went to the Senior Bowl, had a decent Senior Bowl whatsoever. And so my projection was I was going to be one of the top 3 receivers in the 1990 draft. Come draft night, nothing happened whatsoever. So here's a funny story for you right here. I was the number 18th receiver picked in the 1990 draft.
Wow.
In the 6th round by the New York Jets.
Okay.
This happened because by a analyst that's with the NFL and with ESPN by the name of Mel Kiper.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we know that name.
Here we go.
Kind things to say about me on draft day.
No, really?
The 17 receivers picked in front of me. The only one that played as long as I did was Ricky Pro.
Oh, whom I'm a big fan of, by the way.
Ricky Pro was the only one. And then, believe it or not, the only guy that was drafted after me that played as long and he became a tight end is Shannon Sharp.
Oh,
that's right.
Yes.
So
Savannah State. Yeah.
So you think about it, when we went back to all that time when you was too small, you couldn't, you can't. Here it is right on draft day. And I had to witness that. So I go in the second day of the draft and I was so happy the Jets drafted me. And I said, ooh, everybody's going to be sorry. I'm saying everyone's going to be sorry that they passed on me and whatsoever. And so there goes another chip on my shoulder. So that rookie year, I played with a chip on my shoulder. I broke a NFL record at the time, 98-yard punt return for a touchdown. Still the New York Jets record, I think it is.
Outstanding.
So, and I had a decent 4 years in New York, but I knew that I was going to be moving on at some point. And I thought my chance was going to come with the Jets. And then when Bruce Koslick got fired, Pete Carroll became the head football coach. They decided my contract was up. Pete Carroll decided he didn't want to sign me back, and they signed Art Monk instead. And I signed with the Falcons. And I signed with I visited the Rams, the Saints, the Colts.
Wow.
And I think one other team. And then when the Falcons called me, I says, I tell you what, I won't go on another visit. If you make me an offer, I'll come play at home in Atlanta.
Nice.
And he said, let me call you back. So we're going to fly you out for a workout. I was like, okay, cool. So we go out and all these receivers, Mark Clayton, who's played for the Dolphins, other big names, and they out there stretching. And I'm going, oh my God, we about to run 40s. Now, I always had, when it was time to run 40s, I froze up. I was like, oh, Lord, I'm 40. So I'm stretching whatsoever. So at the time, June Jones was the head football coach. So I'm stretching, down there stretching. He leans over and says, I don't need to see you run 40. I looked around. Okay. So everybody ran 40s but me.
Okay.
So I run, this is honest God truth, I run 10 rounds. And then he goes, go in and shower, go see the trainer. And everybody else out there still running. Wow. So
he loved you.
So then the trainer says, June, I got to take you up to June Jones' office. So I go up into the office, to go in the conference room. We watch some film. And then he asked me, he asked me, well, what is this? Well, what would you do here? This, blah, blah, blah. Now, remember my first 2 years in New Mexico, we ran a run and shoot.
Yep.
So
Oh,
this was
June
You know it.
so I fit right in because I knew the run and shoot concepts. So
That's
I get to the airport. They take me to the airport, and I called my agent, and I said, anything yet? He says, yes, there's an offer.
Ooh.
I said, wait, my plane. I got to get on the plane. So you remember the planes where you took the credit card, slid the
Yeah,
thing, and
yeah.
Oh,
the
yeah.
phone came out. So I called him from the plane. He says, well, this is the offer, blah, blah, blah. I said, let's take it. And so before I even got in the air, I had already had an offer for the Falcons to come play for the Falcons.
Outstanding.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Here's the crazy thing, going back to Pete Carroll. So we go to San Francisco the next year because Pete gets fired and he becomes the defensive coordinator for the 49ers. So I see Pete put my arm around him. Hey, blah, 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 we talking, shooting the breeze. Hey, T, how you doing? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. I said, Pete, guess what's going to happen today? He looked at me all like baffled. I said, I'm going to whoop your ass today because you didn't put me in New York. and I jogged off.
Oh,
After I had over 100 yards that game and 2 touchdowns. After the game, I chalked over to him. I said, I told you, and ran to the locker room.
I love that.
Yeah.
Every
Every time I played a Pete Carroll team, it was personal.
I cannot love that story enough. As full admission, I don't know the man, but he is one of my least favorite coaches in the NFL. So I love it.
But here's the crazy thing. Some of my coaching style comes from Pete Carroll because when he was a defensive coordinator with the Jets, I loved his attitude, his energy whatsoever. And he threw balls and I said, wow. And I loved it because we used to sit there and drud things, and we'd hear the defense running down the hall. We're like, where y'all going? We going bowling. Pete. So that energy that he brings, even at almost 80 years old, it's infectious. It's just so I took that from him. I took that energy. So I bring that every day. Every day I bring that energy to practice. And that's because of Pete Carroll.
Interesting.
Yep.
That's fascinating. Yeah. I mean, that's what he's known for. They're gotten the culture in Seattle now. But listen, your stay, so much that I'd love to unpack with you here. You caught balls from Ken O'Brien, a guy that many people say is probably underrated. Like he was just
oh my God.
Really?
Wow.
Oh, do tell.
That's interesting. Yeah.
I hear that.
He's the most. You got to understand that draft he was in.
Right.
All those
84.
Nuts. Some of those dudes is in the Hall of Fame whatsoever.
Yeah.
And you gotta, and I tell people, I said, if he had protection like your Joe Montanas and your Steve Youngs and your Dan Marino's, we'll be talking about Ken O'Brien as one of the top 10 all-time quarterbacks in the NFL. He was spot on. When I say spot on and was smart, but he used to get the mess knocked out of him.
Oh, I remember.
It's just like Chris Chandler. Chris Chandler is Ken O'Brien. Yeah. Chris Chandler is Ken O'Brien. Yep. He people say, oh, Crystal Chandelier. Chris Chandler was the toughest quarterback that I ever played with because he would sit in the pocket and wait and let that ball go at the last minute and get hit in the chin. And that wasn't his fault. He said, I'm gonna wait here until they get open. Yeah. I don't care if protection breaking down. I'm gonna wait here until and he'll wait till the last minute and get hit. And at 215, 220 pound, 300-pound defensive lineman, all his weight on you, what do you think gonna happen?
I find your career with quarterbacks fascinating, particularly when you match them up with your receiving numbers. I mean, you got Ken O'Brien, you bring up Chris Chandler, but there's Bobby Hebert slipped in there for a while, and then you had Jeff George, who's kind of a polarizing guy in the NFL, but he had talent.
The most talented quarterback that I ever played with.
Wow. Jeff, huh?
I mean, just his talent was, oh my goodness. Oh, the thing is people misunderstood him because at the quarterback position, you got to be a leader. You got to be almost the head assistant head football coach of the team.
Right.
Jeff didn't want that. Jeff just wanted to win games and put up numbers. And so he wasn't that guy that was going to be like, yeah, and come on. And he just went out there and played football. And people just didn't understand that about Jeff. And that's the bad rap he had. But Jeff was a true competitor. He'll light you up in a shoot. He'd go into half. We go into halftime. He already had 300 yards passing. And you're like, how did that happen? And that ball never got 20 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a
arm, a quick release.
Wow.
Yeah. You played with some great players, but sir, you put up some big numbers. I mean, in 94 as an undrafted free agent, 111 receptions, a Pro Bowl. For the Falcons fans out there who are loving this stuff, you, sir, are in the big three in Falcons history that includes Julio Jones, Roddy White, and you. In terms of numbers,
it was me.
It was you, before they showed up.
So, Preston, I know how you feel.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I was on top for a while, and then two jokers come along, and now I'm number 3, but I'm still there. That's all.
Yeah, you're still there.
Somebody had to set the bar. Thank you, Preston.
There you go. Set the bar, baby.
Well, you know what? I love it.
You know, we had such great parallels, but another one we share is I was also two-time Man of the Year nominee and from the Rams, and you had an opportunity to serve as the actual Man of the Year for the Falcons in 1998. Tell us about that and how that transitioned, all that great effort transitioned into your foundation that you have today.
Well, my mom always told me, don't forget where you come from.
There you go.
I remember one day I was talking to her. I was in the car and I was talking to her, and we were talking about, I think I was about to get a new contract, or I was something like that, and I got a new contract, and I kept telling her, I says, they don't even know my worth, Mama. They're not even paying me what I'm worth. You know, blah blah blah. Why everybody getting all this and getting all these accolades? Look at my numbers. You know, it's second to none. I says, why I'm not getting the attention and the things that I get? My mom said, that ain't what God wanted you to do. Says you have a different purpose. He wants you to use your platform to help people. And said, that's what you're going to do. And I say, yes, ma'am. I remember. I say, yes, ma'am. And when I got to 94, after the 94 season, I started the foundation whatsoever in Atlanta. And one thing with organizations, I don't know if it was like that when you were playing, Preston, is they have this person that and comes around with a clipboard and says, hey, we got this hospital visit, this visit. Anybody want to sign?
Wow.
Yeah. And so that's what, a lot of organizations do. Hey, we want you to go out here and this and that. We have this and that. And I didn't feel good doing it because it wasn't from the heart. It was from someone telling me to do it.
Yeah. So
being from Georgia and knowing a lot of people, I started my own foundation and started getting out in the communities that I thought that was underserved. And it became very special to me. And I was one of the first ones that have their own foundation outside of the Atlanta Falcons organization. And it became nationally known from, I got awards from, I was drum major award for athletics from SES LC, from the Martin Luther King Jr. Organization, from Rainbow Push and Jesse Jackson. I started getting national recognition for the things that I was doing. And then I got what is called now the Walter Payton Award, which meant a whole lot to me because that was from my team, and it was from, I remember that the things that I was doing got so big when President Clinton was in office. They sent a representative from the White House with a letter, and they gave me this proclamation right there on the football field in front of the team. And from that proclamation, it was a letter they wanted me to go to Sumter, South Carolina, which was one of the poorest cities in South Carolina, and do a football camp or go talk to the students at the high school. And that's what we did. And it came straight from DC. So throughout my life, I've been truly blessed, but the football stuff is something that, like you said, records are made to be broken. But when you can help save lives or advance life or give people hope, that's everlasting. That's forever. And can't nobody take that from you.
I love that stuff. Love it.
Yeah.
That's great, man. And then to see you go into coaching after such a successful NFL career, when I think that we're at a time with young people where we need people that can relate to them, but also, create a path, so to speak, is amazing. But before we jump into our 2-minute drill, because we're always guilty of keeping people longer than we should, are you still doing anything with NASCAR? Are you still a NASCAR guy?
You know what? I'm still a NASCAR guy because of the fact that every year someone from NASCAR calls me and tries to reel me back in.
Really?
And I keep saying, oh, no, no, I'm not doing it again. I'm not doing it again. It's so tempting to do because I've learned so much over the years with NASCAR and how it operates and the cost and all that stuff is so tempting, but then it takes too much time. So I said, I'd rather coach football than mess with NASCAR.
Wow. I love it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Coach, how often are you on the road out here during the recruiting season? How often are you out there talking to these young guys?
Well, you know what? I just started recruiting because we just finished April 13th or something like that. And then through that process, we were exit meetings with the guys, putting together the rosters, seeing what our needs were, the guys that we've been recruiting, trying to get their contract signed whatsoever and do that stuff. And I just started getting out actually this week. And it's been very, very productive so far. And I said I was going to be one of those coaches that got out as much as I can. Time is running out. I had 2 more days to get out. Next week, school ends here. But I need to hit the schools where people say we don't go. Morehouse never comes here. Morehouse, we don't see Morehouse here. So really? I gotta hit those schools and say, hey, we care. Like the 3 schools I went to in Metro Atlanta today and offered these young men, and it was phenomenal. And it was like Morehouse haven't been here in years. And these young men was just and you're talking about 5 minutes from campus, 10 minutes from campus. These schools. So it was amazing today, man.
Wow. Good for you.
One of my guys went with me. He says, Coach, I ain't never seen this before. And he used to coach years ago at Morehouse, and then he was associate AD. So he was with me, and he says, this has never happened. This has never happened. So we got a term that we call uncommon.
Uncommon.
And now people are seeing, Coach, you are uncommon. I was like, yes, I'm not cookie cutter. I'm doing things that others won't do. It's uncommon. And that's how we going to be.
All right. Love that, man. I can't tell you how much I love that. That's great. Those guys' lives changed today.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty heady stuff.
Man, it's, most of this, what we do, we want to win football games. I'm going to tell you, we're going to win all 10. That's the goal. Win all 10.
All right.
Bold prediction. I love it.
It's not one of those things where you hear that coach says, well, I got to change the culture. Give me a couple of years, recruit a little bit whatsoever. You already lost. You already lost. With me, we're trying to win them all. And my team know it. When you ask any one of them, they're going to say, we're trying to win them all. That's the way we speak. That's the way we speak. We're trying to win them all. Why not?
There you go.
If you're not, come on, Press. If you ain't trying to win it, why are you doing it?
Yeah.
Why are you doing it?
Why are you wasting time?
If I'm not trying to win football games right now, they shouldn't have hired me.
Yeah.
Because any coach that said they're not trying to win right now, they should be fired. They should be fired, really, because it makes the player say, well, look, we can just go through this season and go through it, because 2 or 3 years from now, we're gonna have better players in here, then we're gonna be ready to play. And coaches are gonna say, well, what, you're gonna start coaching in 2 or 3 years, or you're gonna just take a year off and just do what?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Come
Love
on,
it. Bold predictions. Bold
Yeah.
predictions from Coach Mathis, people. Morehouse, be ready. Oh,
You the man.
my goodness. Well, we have kept Coach and great wide receiver and the guy that broke your records long enough.
How long has it been?
Oh, we love it. We love it.
Let
Well,
me check and see how long y'all had me on this. Oh Lord, y'all had me. Come on, let's do this 2-minute drill.
Okay, we got to do the 2-minute drill and get you to dinner.
Before you go to the 2-minute drill, before I went, I was saying that this job is bigger than football games. I had a young man who walked on this spring, and he's from South Central LA.
Okay.
And a friend of his got killed while he was at school, and he stopped playing. And it took him for a loop. And then come to find out that some of the money he saved up from his Pell Grant whatsoever, a family member spent it all.
Oh.
So now, after the semester, he's not able to be in a walk-on. He's not able to return back to school. So I had him come in my office, and we had a conversation. His uncle called me whatsoever, and we're trying to figure things out. We're going to give him some scholarship money, and we're trying to get the school to give him some money, and his uncle will give him some money, and we're going to get this kid back.
Wow.
And it's emotional because of the fact that he's a great kid, and he's carrying a 3.7 GPA in biology.
Wow.
So he wants to be a biology major. So I brought him in my office, and I told him, I said, we're going to help you out. I said, come see me before you leave so I can get eyes on you. So he came in and we talked. He says, Coach, I leave tonight. I said, okay, call me when you land. I said, and then weekly, you need to check in with me, because I knew where he was going back to.
Yeah.
I knew where he was going back to. He landed. He says, Coach, I just landed. Text me, Coach, I just landed. Next day, he sends me a video. Coach, I'm running the hills. And then today he calls me and says, Coach, this is my weekly check-in. And that's what it's about.
Yeah.
It's more than wins and losses. That's what it's about. It's about these young men. We are servants to them, and it's our job to make sure they get everything they need to be successful in life, even if it's saving lives and getting their degrees, moving on and become businessmen, family men, husbands, whatever it is. That's our job. It's not about yelling, cursing, and driving them and making them throw up and punishing them for doing this and doing monkey rolls and all this stuff. It ain't about that. It ain't about how tough you are as a coach. It's about your compassion for these young men.
Right.
And if you don't have compassion for them, the same grace that God is giving you, you need to give to these young men. Or God going to take that grace from you. No.
Coach, I'm ready to play.
Yeah,
I'm ready to play, Coach.
Let's go.
What can you do with a guy in his 50s? What can I do for you? Like, I'm ready. I'll go through the wall.
Not much.
Not much.
Not much.
I'll buy you a dinner. How's that?
You can long snap because they can't touch the center, so you can long snap.
There you go.
That's it. I'm a long snapper. There you go.
Oh my goodness. Oh goodness.
Oh God, this has been fantastic. That is, in all seriousness, we joke around a lot, but that is very inspiring and super cool. And everybody tune in and support this program this next season. We won't make you out that terrific kid with his number, but we're going to check in later in the season and go, how's that going?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Please.
because we like to do that. Preston will.
Outstanding. I just appreciate hearing that, and that's what the game's all about. It started a long time for Terance. He and I started out in the early '90s doing a youth football camp.
Mhm.
That was the first outreach that I had with him. You can see how it's catapulted to where he is today. God bless you, man. The hour's growing late. It's time for the 2-minute drill. We got to get rocking and rolling.
Go get him, 88.
Oh, here we go. Well, this is the 2-minute drill at the end of the show where we ask our guests to either or in a rapid fire question and answer. So here we go, my friend. You're pretty quick on the field. Let's see how quick you are with your answers on this. You ready to go? All right, here we go. Turf or grass?
Grass.
College or NFL?
College. To watch, college.
Oh, how about? Oh, I love it. Better play in college or better play in NFL?
You mean better play overall?
Yeah. Playing in college versus playing in the NFL. Was it better? Which one?
It was better in the NFL.
Oh, love it. Your favorite movie, my friend?
Oh man, good gracious, dude.
Yeah, let's go to work.
Favorite movie? Oh, I don't have a favorite movie.
Oh, you don't? Okay, let's come on. Has had one. Okay, we come back to that then. Here's one I know you're going to enjoy. Red or green? There you go, Stace.
Boy, you got a green chili, boy. What are you talking about?
That's
red or green chili.
Yeah, you know he went to New Mexico.
I know what you're talking about when you said red or green.
Yeah, there you go.
All the Lobos, ladies and gentlemen, all the Lobos. They all know. They all know.
All right, here we go. Your most underrated player you've seen.
Oh, wow.
The most underrated player you've seen. And
I seen or played with.
Yeah, or played with. We'll throw that in there.
We talked about him already. It's Ken O'Brien.
I was going to say Ken O'Brien. I was going to assume you'd say that. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Listen
a lot
in,
of people
kids.
don't realize that.
Great ball player. Yeah.
And
okay.
You know what? And if there's a 1B, I would say Al Toon.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. I loved Al. Loved Al, too, as
he
well.
was a player, man, on the Jets.
Yeah.
Watched him in college.
Your greatest career achievement.
Oof. Super Bowl. Getting to the Super Bowl.
There, baby. Who plays you? And here's the final one. Who plays you in a movie about your life?
Tay Diggs, baby.
Yeah. Perfect choice.
That
is an awesome answer.
Oh my gosh.
That was rapidly quick, wasn't it? I knew that one right away.
No, that was quicker than Red and Green.
Hey, Diggs. I hadn't even thought that. That's awesome.
Yes,
that is awesome, man.
I got to throw in one more, and then we promise to let you rip. I've got to know, toughest defensive back you ever faced.
There you go.
You were in a golden era of some real studs.
Charles Woodson.
Oh,
Charles Woodson. That would be a good one.
13 years playing the game and being in the game. He was the only DB where I didn't catch a ball where I played in the game.
Wow.
Fascinating.
In the 13 years, I went over against Charles Woodson.
Wow.
And I'm still mad at that today.
You still mad?
When I see Charles Woodson, we're going to take off our glasses and I'm going to say, line up. I don't care if we're at a restaurant. We're going to move tables, whatsoever. People are going to say, what is wrong with them? I'm going to say, line up, get in your stance, and then I'm going to hug you.
I'm going to do the same thing with Lawrence Taylor, but I ain't going to hug you. I'm not hugging him.
Oh, my goodness.
T-Matt, so glad to have you. I really appreciate you joining us.
True pleasure, man. And you've been trying to get me on for a year now. And,
well, we're so big and popular that we.
You throw me to the side.
But
you
I
can't
really
make it. Okay, whatever. We get somebody else.
If I can get my act together with my body, I'm coming to golf in your foundational tournament. But let me get healthy.
It's over. You've reached that age, man.
Oh, don't say that. Please don't say that.
You reached that age. Sometimes you're just gonna.
I just got my groove going. It can't be over.
Yeah, I'm playing golf in the morning.
Oh, okay, that's
Oh,
enough.
wow.
Stacy, take us away, my friend.
Okay, folks, what a pleasure. Fantastic to meet someone that I really enjoyed watching play, unless you played my Rams, which was a problem. But I'll tell you what, thank you so much, Terance Mathis. Thank you for all you're doing in the world for young people, too. And it's been a pleasure to meet you through our friend here, Mr. Denard. For those listening in here at Gridiron Icon, follow us on all the usual spots. You can see Terance Mathis. He's looking good, Mr. Tay Diggs, on our YouTube channel.
Yes, he is.
And to our listeners, we will see you next week. Take care.